Welcome back, everyone, to the Athletes Roundtable. This podcast is brought to you by Athletic Productions. Today, we were unable to be joined by Ryan Murphy, but we are joined by
Elizabeth Riccio,
an athlete,
Kedarjah Lewis. I'm from Higginham, Connecticut, and I'm a sophomore. Whoa! No, I'm not a sophomore anymore. I'm a junior, and I do track and soccer.
What's your major?
I'm majoring in entrepreneurship and marketing right now, as of right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're a dual major?
Yep.
Wow. And two sports.
Yeah.
So you just do everything in twos.
Gots to.
Nice.
Yeah.
How does playing soccer and track work in the same year?
Usually I start out with soccer first in the fall, and then after I'll transition to track for the next 2 seasons.
Do you practice like both, or take one aspect from soccer and take it into track, or vice versa?
Yeah. So this is my 3rd year now, so I've been trying to figure it out the last 2 years that I've been here. The first year I only focused on soccer because I knew that was what was coming up right away. And then the second year I was like, ooh, I kind of want to also do great at track. So then I only focused on track for a little. My soccer talents went a little down. And then this year I was like, I need to focus on both. So over the summer I was doing soccer training in the nighttime, track training in the morning. It was fun though.
Did that does training for soccer help you with track, or vice versa? Does training for track help you with soccer? Because that's a lot of running.
Yeah. Oh, the running part I don't really too like, but it does help. Track, my senior year of high school, I did track to help me with soccer, and that's the best shape I've ever been in my life that year, doing both of them at the same time. So I would say track helps with soccer. Soccer don't really help with track at all. It mainly takes my form out of whack. I'll have soccer season, then go to track, and my coach is like, whoa, the form is gone. I'm like, I know, I'm gonna get it back.
Are there any challenges playing two sports?
Yeah, because you can't practice year-round. I'll practice in the summer for both, but when soccer season come, all the training for track just goes out the door again. So that's the one major part that I'm trying to figure out how to do still, but it is what it is.
What about time management? Is it hard to balance two sports and two majors?
Not really, because this is what I've done my whole life, is just I've always done a sport, and I've always had to do school. I think if I didn't have a sport, I would be awful at time management. I wouldn't get up in the mornings. I wouldn't feel like I have a responsibility to something. I would just be awful. I just know it. Yeah.
I get that. Me too. If I don't have a structure, I cannot continue with my schedule. You know what I mean?
No, I feel that.
Over the summer, it was so weird for me because I'm so used to doing a lot of things up here, the podcast as leisure. So over the summer, just working, it felt so weird not being busy. So
yeah. No, I understand that. And I was talking to you earlier about this podcast and stuff. You guys are killing it for just I thought you guys were grad students and everything. And he was like, no, we're juniors and sophomores. Whoa, you guys are killing this shit.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We try our best.
So how did you get into playing soccer and track and field?
I started soccer when I was in 3rd grade, and I'm not originally from here. I was born in Jamaica, so I moved here when I was in 3rd grade, and I was pretty fast as a kid. And one of my best friends to this day, she saw me at recess, and she told her travel coach, she was like, there's this girl that's really fast. We need to get her into soccer. So in 4th grade, I went over to soccer, and I've loved it ever since. And I've never thought I would do another sport up until junior year in high school. I was everyone always told me to do track, but I was I don't want to waste my time. Let's not even do it. And then I was let's be ready for soccer season. So I did track as a way to be fit for soccer season.
Mm-hmm. I know a bunch of high schoolers, they can play football, and then they go right into wrestling after. But
yeah.
It's crazy to me that you play track and field and soccer at college level. Is there a difference between college and high school?
Yeah, totally. And I noticed that when I got here, because soccer, I think it's the same thing. The speed just get a little higher, but I've always been a fast person, so it was easy for me to adjust. But when it came to track, I think that was the biggest adjustment of my life, because In high school track, you really don't have to try. If you're fast, you're fast. You're gonna beat somebody at some point. And then I got here, the workouts became harder, the practice schedule became longer. Like I have to block out a full like 3 hours block in my schedule just for track practice. Cause we run and then we go to lifting and then something else after that, depending on how the coach is feeling that day. So that was pretty hard.
It's a lot. That's a busy day,
Yeah.
especially with classes. That's crazy.
Yeah, once track season starts, I go from like probably 9 to like 9 in the night because I have to take those night classes because track just takes up a bunch of space in the day. It kind of sucks, but I'm all for it.
It's a commitment, but that shows how dedicated you are to the sport and
Yeah.
how much you love it.
So
love is a strong word when it comes to track, but I do enjoy it.
Running is hard. It's terrible. I had to run miles for dance. Oof. Not for
Why?
me. We have to keep our stamina up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need stamina. That's what I need.
so you were just talking about like when track and field comes, it's like 9 to 9.
Yeah.
What is like your daily schedule for track and then also soccer?
So I'll get up in the morning. Sometimes I don't eat breakfast. Like it's very hard to do. Then I'll go to track. When track's around, I'll go to track practice first, and then at 1 o'clock I'll start my classes, and then and depending on which day it is, either 9 or like 8, 5 o'clock, somewhere down there. Then I'll go get dinner. I try to eat lunch most days I do, but sometimes the busy schedule we can't do that. Spelman closes, and I'm like, oh, I guess no lunch today. So after that, then I'll just do homework the rest of the night. And I'm a night owl, so I'll stay up till like 2 o'clock, watch a bunch of Netflix, and then I'll go to sleep and do it again the next morning.
So you fall asleep at 2 a.m. and then wake up at like 9 a.m.
Yeah,
and then have
sometimes.
12-hour schedule.
Yeah. It's nice. I need like 6 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I
Right?
got back from practice at 11 o'clock last night, and I knew I had class today at like 10, so I was like, I gotta get up.
Right.
I have stuff to do.
Like, as long as my body knows I have something to do the next day, it's gonna wake up.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's what the 7 alarms are for.
Exactly.
Do you have a favorite part of playing like soccer and running track?
Yeah, soccer, I just love every part of it. Like, I just love that sport. Track, I only like the jumping part. I don't like the running part. Like, running, I didn't realize how hard running can be until I got to college track. I was like, I'm just moving my legs and arm. Why is this so hard? But jumping, I could do all day.
What races do you run in track?
In track, I do the 100, 200, long jump, and 4x1, and the 60-meter dash.
Do you have like a favorite
Long jump.
long jump?
Yeah.
Long jump looks so fun. I always wanted to try it.
It is. Like, I think that's the reason I did tracking in college. Like in high school, yeah, I ran but I also jumped, but I fell in love with the jumping part. So I was like, oh, if I love this so much, I'm gonna do well at it. They offered me, I was like, I want to also do track here, and they were like, okay, you could do track, your numbers work. So then I was like, all right, I'll do it. But then they want me to run. So I was like, it is what it is. I'll take it.
Last year in the long jump, you broke a record, right? For school?
Yeah, the school record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
What were like your feelings like after accomplishing that?
When I broke the record, it wasn't really anything. Like, I didn't feel any type of way about it because I knew the number that I hit was supposed to be a number that I should have already hit. Because coming out of high school, I was a pretty good long jumper in high school. So I hit 19.2 in high school, and I went to nationals and stuff like that. And then I came to college, and I was expecting to break 19, go on to 20. So, like, that took me a while to break 19. So last year when I jumped 19.8, it was, like, crazy because it proved to me that I really can go and jump 20. And once I hit the 20 mark, then I'm competing with, like, the top college athletes and stuff like that. So once I hit that number, I was like, oh, you can do it, but you should have already done this, so it wasn't like a really joyful moment, but I still enjoyed it, I guess. I don't know. It's like a love-hate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So being like a leader for on the team, how do you like inspire other runners?
I'm more of a action speak louder than words type of girl. So I'll show up to practice every day and I'll give it my full 100. But most days, aches and pain happen. So I'll like take a break, and you have to also show people that it's okay to take a break within, because if you don't take a break, your body's gonna take a break for you. So like I go to practice every day, I'll give it my full 100, but I also show people it's okay. Maybe today don't go as hard as possible because your body can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of athletes don't realize that sometimes, that if you go 100 all of the time,
Yeah.
your body's going to give out on you, and it's not going to be at a good time, and it's not going to be fun.
Exactly.
So
I
you have to
learned
like
that.
rest and eat and properly, which
Yeah.
is something I learned the hard way.
Right? I
Yeah.
don't know why it always takes us the hard way to learn these
Exactly.
things.
Ugh.
So you were just talking about your favorite parts. Do you have any least favorite parts?
Soccer, when we have to do fitness tests, that is awful. Why you have me running, all this running, but that's that. I love soccer anyways. Track, I know track is a running sport. People tell me this all the time, but I hate the running part of track. I understand I chose a running sport, but I just, the pain of track is like another level of pain that like I don't think people understand. Do you know like when you experience like an ache and like after a while you repeatedly do it, you get used to it? Not track. You show up every day and you're in pain from the running. And then you're like, oh, maybe tomorrow will be easier. No. You go again and it's the same pain and you're like, why am I doing this? But then the result comes and you're like, that's why I'm doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for that runner's high sort of thing.
Yeah.
Even though you're in pain, you're still like, well, this is a good thing.
Right? I feel like I'm like battling myself to see if I could really do it or not. It's like an ego thing in my brain. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do it, but then I'm like, this hurts a little. Yeah.
We just had water polo players on our last podcast, and they were talking about how they don't like the swimming part.
It's like a very, I don't think anyone really likes their sport. They just do it because it's like they've been doing it for years and they don't know how to live without it. Because after my 2 years in here, like, how am I going to cope with not being an athlete? I truly don't know. But I don't think anyone truly likes the sport. I really don't. And I have water polo roommates. So I would like talk with them about it, and they're like, yeah, swimming is hard.
My brother's the same way. He's a diver here.
Yeah.
And he's always asked, like, oh, don't you love, like, swimming and diving? And he's like, diving, sure. Swimming, absolutely not. If you ask me to swim more than a lap, I will probably get very mad. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. He won't even wear goggles. It's the stupidest thing. It's so funny.
Are there any like match rituals for you, like before you head out to like a big race or before like a big soccer game?
Usually, no, because I don't really think about like competing as often as I probably should. But I think if I think about it too much, I'll get in my own head and I'll psych myself out and then I'll perform badly. So I just get up, go about my, like, people would go to their bed early the night before. No, I'm going to still hit the bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to wake up. It's for track meets, we need to wake up super early. So if I need to wake up at 6 o'clock, I'm going to go to bed at 2 anyways. I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock and I'm going to go to the meet and perform. I feel like if I was supposed to switch out my schedule, then I'd perform badly.
That's like a very fair point, because I feel like some people listen to music and like they like hype themselves up too much and they're not like focused as well. But like sticking to the same routine probably feels like the smartest way to do it.
Yeah, I just treat everything as normally as possible that I can that day. Like, even if I listen to music, it's never like a hype up, pump up music. I always have to get in my feelings for like, because especially with soccer, if I'm like emotional, I'm gonna play my best. And then for track, it's like I always feel like somebody's chasing me. Like track is the most terrifying sport because I'm running and I feel like somebody's gonna come get me. Like, what are those like scary movies? Like, you know,
Yeah.
have you ever seen that challenge on TikTok where the person like walks to the door and try to open it super fast and somebody's chasing? That's how I feel doing track all the time.
Yeah, it's like the Halloween movies or like the Scream movies.
Exactly. So if I'm emotional, I'll get going.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm scared, I'm gone. Yeah.
I feel that. Like when you're running, I feel like if you feel like something's chasing you or you got something to prove, then you're running fast. Like if you get pissed at someone, you're like, if I run a mile, it will be the fastest mile.
Fastest mile.
Oh my gosh, I had a really bad day at work one time and I had to run a mile afterwards, and it was literally the fastest mile I've ran by like 30 seconds.
Okay.
I was like, damn.
And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It was not good. I like almost passed out afterwards, but it was a good number.
Exactly. That's all that matters.
So you were just talking about how you were born in Jamaica, and then you came over to United States when you were 4?
8.
8?
Yeah.
What was like the biggest difference to you?
Definitely like the culture and just like the people. Like when I was in Jamaica, I'm used to seeing like people like me. Like I came here and I was like, whoa, there's other people. So, and then like the music here is different. In Jamaica, I was able to walk from my house to my friend's house, and we walk everywhere, we run everywhere. Came over here, all of a sudden I have to take a car down the street. It was all very different. Yeah.
My roommate's actually Jamaican,
Okay.
and his mom like makes him like Jamaican food, and it's
Yeah.
like Jamaican food is so much better than like American food in my opinion.
I would
and,
agree.
And also like the music too, like Bob Marley and
Okay.
Sean Kingston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But yeah.
no. I love Jamaican food. It's great.
Was culture shock like a big like transition for you, or since you were so young, was it like easier, you think?
I think because I was young, it was easier. Because I was, like, I experienced the culture back there, but then out here was just like, oh, it was new. I wasn't really thrown off by the whole thing.
That's cool. I think the younger you get exposed to new cultures, it's
Yeah.
probably the easier it is for you to adjust, because you're still learning new things anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree.
What made you choose Iona?
When I was picking colleges, that was like the midst of COVID hitting, and like for soccer, people like need to see you perform. So I couldn't like go to these schools and have like these camps that other people would have. So like I went to one camp before COVID completely shut everything down, and there was an Iona representative there and a Sacred Heart representative there. The Iona representative at the time, I don't think he had any interest in me. I don't think he's here now. But the Sacred Heart coach, he thought I was pretty good. But then he realized that he didn't have enough money to recruit me. So then he told the head coach now about me, Todd. And Todd had coached me when I was younger. So he was like, there's no way this is the same girl that I coached like when she was young. And then no one else have my name, so it had to be me. So he reached out to me. I came for a visit, and I really like the campus because it's super small. Like, I can't get lost. That's the only reason. Like, I can't get lost on here. It's a one straight line, so I'm like, I'm going there.
Yeah.
Everywhere I saw was big, and I'm going to get lost there. I can't.
It's also nice when you have like a 8 a.m. class and you wake up at 7:50 and you
Yeah.
can still make it like on time too,
That's what
because
I'm
everything's
saying.
so small.
You're never late here.
Some of the big schools where you have to take a bus to class,
Yeah.
like I gotta time that out. There's too much work.
Exactly. I can't do it.
My brother and my sister both went to Stony Brook, and my brother would have to take like buses from like his dorm to his class, and it's like he would spend like an hour and a half just to get to class. I'm like, that's insane.
See, now you got to wake up 2 hours before. No, I can't do that.
And then I think the walk to La Penta is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sitting here, I'm like walking to the 3rd floor of La Penta at 8 a.m. No, thank you.
No, I agree. That's exactly why I know I can't go anywhere else. Sometimes I'm in Sky. I room in North, and I have to go to Spelman to get food. I'm like, oh, that's a hike. I can't walk that
Yeah.
far.
And then I'm like, well, I have a kitchenette now, so I might as well use it.
Right?
So, going back to like being like an athlete, were there any tough setbacks you had to face and like overcome?
Yeah. Before my freshman year in high school, I tore my right ACL, and The setback, like the recovery process was pretty easy for me. It was like after you recover and trying to get back into the sport, the mental battle was absolutely awful because you realize like before I tore it, I was doing pretty well at soccer, and then you come back and you're like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, which like kind of mess you up in the brain. And like right now, I don't know if it's I just got injured in my last game. I don't know if it's torn or what it is, but I feel like that's also gonna be a tough battle. But if it's anything drastic, I've been through it before, so I know I can handle the comeback. It's just that like when I do come back, how am I gonna perform after? Which is the part that's messing me up right now. So I just hope it's nothing dramatic.
Your first time coming back from an injury like that, was it, when you say a mental battle, was it just getting you back into that routine, or was it like I don't trust my body to get me where I need to be anymore? Like, what was the mental block?
It was like, I think it's the more of like I don't trust my body part, because it was like you'd go into tackles and you're like, whoa, I'm not as invincible as I thought, because I was young when it happened, like maybe 13. Is that when you go into high school? 13?
I think like 15?
15?
14,
14?
I think.
Yeah, somewhere around that age. Before, I thought I was invincible. I didn't know there was such thing as like injuries, or like I just didn't care. I see it happen to people before, but I was like, not me. And then it happens to you. So then you'd come back and you'd go into battles and you're like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't go into that tackle, because like what if my body don't hold up? Like what if I re-injure it? That's another year out of the sport. And like having that in the back of your head all the time was like awful to play. It's like you never fully play your full potential because you're always thinking about being injured.
Yeah, that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, it was bad when I was coming back. I would go to practice and I'd be like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. Like I would like cry, and I'm not a person to like cry and stuff like that, but like I would cry after practices. I'm like, I know that I'm better than what I'm doing right now, but I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's like your brain wants to go farther than your body is willing to.
Yeah.
How were you able to like overcome that, like heading into college?
So coming in, the good part about tearing my ACL at like that young of age, it was like my freshman year. Nobody cared about who I was at that point, if I was playing good or not. Like no coaches was looking. So I had my sophomore year, even though I had an awful coach in high school for my sophomore year, I didn't play as much as I should have like played, but it gave my body like, he would put me in for a certain amount of time, and it would give me a chance to like, oh, play, but then rest my body, so I didn't like really overdo it. And then having 3 years before college just gave me time to like get back into the sport. But even now, I think I really just started playing my best, which kind of like sucks now that I'm going through this. Like it took me 6 years to get back to a point where I feel like, oh, I could play this sport the best I can, and now this.
Well, I hope it's nothing like too serious.
I hope so too.
If you overcame it like before, I feel like you can do it again.
Yeah, that's the thought process right now. I just hope the MRI don't say anything crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot to deal with. I couldn't. I don't know. Like, I've never had one of those injuries to have a setback.
Yeah.
I've had mental setbacks.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I've had a ton of those. But I feel like dealing with the mental and the physical aspect of an injury, of being like, oh, where am I now? What happens next? The, like, anticipation almost for, like, that MRI you said coming back.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a lot to deal with.
Tell me about it, girl. I've been a shambles for the last 2 days.
Oh, no.
I don't know how, but the only like broken bone I ever got was like a nose breakage. Like I played basketball like all my life, and like football too, and baseball like in high school and growing up. And then I was just playing basketball with like my brother and our best friends.
Yeah.
And I like my best friend's like shoulder accidentally hit me in the nose, and I like got a broken nose from that. and that was like the only time I ever broke a bone before.
Yeah,
so.
it's always like the unexpected times. Like, why am I playing basketball with my brother and his
Yeah.
friend, and then all of a sudden my nose is broken?
Yeah.
I hate injuries like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're not doing anything serious.
Yes.
Like, I was just walking around in my room one time, and I stepped on a sewing needle that someone had left on the floor. How does that happen?
oh.
That's not a thing.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
that's crazy, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. And it's so small. Oh, yeah.
It was not good.
yeah. Like, what?
So do you have any hobbies like outside of track and soccer?
I'm very much into shoes. I'm a movie watcher. I love movies. I could spend like hours in my room just watching movies by myself. I'm trying to get into reading because I want to be a reader girl. Don't know why. I just really want to be a reader girl. And I'm starting to get into football.
Football?
Yeah.
What's your favorite movies?
I love any action movies, but sometimes like the romance movies get me. But I be watching like a lot of action movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Mission Impossible and stuff like that. And
I recently just tried to watch all of them in order, but I couldn't. I don't know why I couldn't. I couldn't like find them and stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate when they're on different platforms. You
Yeah.
have to like look for them. It's like a scavenger hunt.
Exactly.
So
like
annoying.
just put them all on one so I could see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
so what type of books like are you trying to get into too?
I like books about knowledge. Like I just picked this book up. What is it called? Ooh, forgive me. Atomic Habits or something like that.
I've heard good things. I haven't read it, but
No,
I've heard good
I'm
things.
like into reading it, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I should adapt some of these things into my life. But then my schedule becomes so busy that I can't finish the book. So I'm like, damn, when am I gonna actually read this book? Because I'm like doing read-ins for classes and stuff. So I was like, oh, I got my reading in for the day. But no, I just want to finish this one book. But I also like mystery books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you like, when you were little, did you read the Nancy Drew books and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
I
Those
did.
are my favorite. They're so good.
Yeah, they are good books.
I always would figure out the twist before it happened. And I'd be
Right?
like, I know better. I could be a better Nancy Drew.
I feel like watching movies gave me that insight. Like now when I watch movies, I could tell you everything that's going to happen before it happens, which
Yeah.
I hate. I hate it so much because there's no surprise no more.
Did you when you guys were young, like did you used to read Goosebumps?
Yeah, Goosebumps. You
No.
never read Goosebumps?
No.
Oh my gosh. They were like these horror stories, these
Okay.
little horror stories. They made like a big movie about it.
Mhm.
But the little stories were like my favorite thing ever.
Okay, maybe I have to look into that.
Oh my gosh, they're fun. They're like short too. So
Okay.
It was like a
if
show
you don't have a
too.
lot of time to read,
Yeah.
Goosebumps it is.
Goosebumps and Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah,
are,
I,
like-
You
yeah, I
read
would get
Diary of a
into
Wimpy
those.
Kid?
Yeah.
that's barely a book. It has too many pictures.
No, those books are like the books that like I can read, you know? Like the 500-page books, like I'm not really trying to.
Yeah, like my roommate, she's like a reader, I guess. She reads like the Harry Potter books and all. I'm
Those
like,
are thick.
yes, from front to back. I'm like, that's like 1,000 pages. How are
Yeah.
you doing this?
My brother finished those books in like when he was like 13 or something. He's like read all the books. I was like, that's insane to
13
do.
is wild.
Yeah, he's a lot smarter than me, I'd say. So what are some of your inspirations in life and in your sports?
My inspiration in my life is just simply to be happy. I know, like, I
That's
just
a good
want,
inspiration.
right? I just want to be happy. Like, I have dreams and stuff that, like, I'd like to chase. Like, I want to be, I want to get into, like, the entrepreneurship route and stuff like that, create a business and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you're not happy doing it, like, why do it at all? Some people accomplish all their goals and stuff and are truly not happy at the end of the day. I'd rather just be happy. And having a strong mindset, like, if you don't have a strong mindset, like I don't know, like, what is there, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I didn't have a strong mindset about most things, I would crumble. Like, many situations that happen over time, if my mindset wasn't as strong as it is, I would crumble. Yeah. And in sports, like, inspiration is just to be good, to have fun. I don't really take any of it serious. Like, I do, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to get worked up over things I can't control and stuff like that. As long as I give it my best.
So be happy and have fun.
Yeah.
Those can't go wrong with those.
Great motto in life.
Yeah.
As long as I'm having fun, I'll do it all day.
So after school, is there any like specific route you want to go into in life, like for a career?
I want to get into sports marketing.
Sports marketing.
Yeah, it like sounds fun to me, and then I also want to get into real estate. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna make it work, but I have 2 years to figure it out.
You did 2 sports, 2 majors. Like you could do 2 careers.
you could do
What's
2
wrong
Why
there?
not?
Be Barbie. Do it all.
All right. Well, thank you for joining the show. Really appreciate it. Yeah. To our viewers, we will be back next week. I'm Jordan Score. This is.
Elizabeth Riccio.
See you later.